Let me ask you something. Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly forgotten why you went in there? Or struggled to recall a name that's right on the tip of your tongue? If so, you're certainly not alone. In fact, I'd be surprised if anyone over 60 hasn't experienced moments like these. They're what we might call senior moments, those little memory glitches that become more common as we get older. But here's what many people don't realize. There's a world of difference between normal age-related forgetfulness and the early warning signs of dementia. And knowing that difference could make all the difference in protecting your cognitive health. You see, our brains naturally change as we age, just like our skin wrinkles and our hair turns gray. Starting as early as our 30s, our brains begin a very gradual process of shrinking. And by our 60s, this process becomes more noticeable. Most of the time, this is completely normal. But sometimes those changes can signal something more serious. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. In this video, we'll walk through 5 key warning signs of dementia after 60, not to scare you, but to empower you with knowledge. Because the sooner you recognize these signs, the more you can do to slow things down naturally and keep your mind sharp for years to come. Now let's start with the first sign, one that often gets brushed off as just getting older. Warning sign number 1, memory loss that disrupts daily life. We all forget things. It's part of being human. But when memory lapses start interfering with everyday life, that's when we need to pay attention. For example, do you or someone you love frequently forget important dates, like birthdays or anniversaries, even when they've always remembered them before? Or maybe you find yourself asking the same question over and over, not because you didn't hear the answer, but because it just doesn't stick. Another thing to watch for is relying more and more on reminders, sticky notes, alarms, or family members for things that used to come naturally, like taking medication or paying bills. Now, missing a bill once in a while isn't a red flag, but if it's happening often and it's causing stress or confusion, that's worth looking into. The good news? There are ways to support your memory naturally, which we'll talk about later. But first, let's move on to the second sign, because it's not just about forgetting things. Warning sign number 2, difficulty with familiar tasks. Imagine this. You've been making your favorite recipe for decades. You could do it with your eyes closed. But lately, you find yourself pausing, unsure of the next step. Or maybe you've driven to the grocery store 1,000 times, but suddenly, the route feels confusing. When tasks that used to feel automatic become challenging, it can be a sign that something's changing in the brain. It might show up in small ways, like struggling to work the TV remote you've had for years. Or bigger ones, like forgetting how to do basic household chores. Now let's be clear. Everyone has moments where they fumble with technology or lose their train of thought. But if these moments are happening more often, and with things that used to be second nature, it's worth paying attention to. And here's something important. Stress, lack of sleep, or even certain medications can mimic these symptoms. So before jumping to conclusions, it's always a good idea to talk to a doctor. But being aware of these signs gives you the power to take action early. Warning sign 3, confusion with time or place. Have you ever woken up and, just for a second, couldn't remember what day it was? It happens to all of us. But when confusion about time or place becomes frequent, it's worth noting. For example, someone with early dementia might lose track of seasons, wearing a heavy coat in the summer or not realizing months have passed. They might forget where they are, even in familiar places, or how they got there. One thing I hear often from family members is, "Mom keeps talking about past events like they're happening now." That's another form of time confusion, when the past and present start blending together. Again, occasional mix-ups are normal. But if you or a loved one is frequently disoriented, it's a sign to dig deeper. Now, before we move on to the next 2 signs, I want to pause and say this. If any of this sounds familiar, please don't panic. Knowledge is power, and there are so many ways to support brain health naturally, from simple lifestyle changes to foods that fuel your mind. We'll cover all of that soon. Before we proceed, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. Thank you. Now, let's talk about the next 2 warning signs. Because sometimes dementia doesn't just show up as forgetfulness. It can affect how we communicate, how we make decisions, and even how we see the world around us. Warning sign number 4, trouble with words and conversations. Have you ever been mid-sentence and suddenly the word just vanishes? Like it's on the tip of your tongue, but you can't quite grab it? We've all been there, but when this happens more and more, when conversations become harder to follow, or when simple words are replaced with vague phrases like that thing, or the stuff over there, it could be a sign of something deeper. For example, maybe you've noticed a loved one struggling to keep up with group chats, losing their train of thought often, or repeating the same stories without realizing it. Or perhaps they've started having trouble following along with TV shows or books they once enjoyed. Language is one of the brain's most complex tasks, so when those pathways start getting fuzzy, it's worth paying attention to. But here's the hopeful part. There are ways to keep those language skills sharp, which we'll get to in just a bit. Warning sign number 5, changes in mood or personality. This one can be subtle, and sometimes it's mistaken for just getting older and grumpier. But dementia doesn't just affect memory. It can change who a person seems to be. Maybe someone who was always easygoing now gets upset over small things. Or a social butterfly starts withdrawing from friends and family, not because they want to, but because they feel overwhelmed. Some people become unusually anxious, especially in new situations, while others might lose their filter, saying things they never would have before. And here's something important. Depression can sometimes mimic these signs too. So if you or someone you love seems different, less engaged, more irritable, or just not themselves, it's worth having a gentle conversation and maybe even talking to a doctor. Now, here's the good news. I know this can all sound a little scary, but here's what I want you to remember. Noticing these signs early gives you power. Because while there's no magic cure for dementia, there are proven natural ways to slow it down and even boost your brain health starting today. Let's talk about a few of the most effective strategies. Score 1. Move your body. Your brain will thank you. You've probably heard that exercise is good for your heart, but did you know it's like a superfood for your brain? Studies show that regular physical activity, even just walking 30 minutes a day, can improve memory, focus, and even slow brain aging. And you don't have to run a long race. Dancing, gardening, swimming, or even chair exercises all count. The key is to get your blood flowing, because better circulation means more oxygen to your brain. 2. Nourish your mind with the right nutrition. What you eat directly affects how your brain functions. Foods rich in omega-3s, like salmon and walnuts, antioxidants, berries and dark leafy greens, and healthy fats, avocados, olive oil, are like armor for your brain cells. One easy tip? Try the Mediterranean diet. Lots of veggies, whole grains, and fish. It's been linked to lower dementia risk and better overall brain health. 3. Stay social. Yes, really. Loneliness can be as bad for your brain as smoking, but staying connected, whether through family, friends, clubs, or even volunteering, keeps your mind active and engaged. Conversations, laughter, and even friendly debates force your brain to work in ways that solitary activities just can't match. So call that old friend, join a book club, or just chat with your neighbor over the fence. Your brain will thank you. 4. Challenge your mind, but keep it fun. Crossword puzzles and Sudoku are great, but don't stop there. Learning something new, a language, a musical instrument, even a new card game, creates fresh pathways in your brain. The key is to pick something you enjoy, so it doesn't feel like homework. And remember, It's not about being perfect. It's about keeping your brain curious and engaged. We've covered 2 more warning signs and some powerful ways to protect your brain naturally. But there's still more to explore, like the surprising role of sleep, stress management, and even certain supplements that science says can help. Now, I'll share some simple, everyday habits that can make a big difference in keeping your mind sharp for years to come. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please take a moment to do so and like our content. Sometimes the simplest things, the everyday habits we barely think about, turn out to be the most powerful medicine for our minds. Take sleep, for example. We all know how groggy and foggy we feel after a restless night, but what's really happening in our brains during those precious hours of rest might surprise you. While we're tucked in bed, our brains are anything but idle. Imagine a nighttime cleaning crew working quietly to sweep away the clutter, the toxins and waste that can build up and cloud our thinking. Scientists have found that during deep sleep, our brains activate what they call the glymphatic system, a process that flushes out harmful proteins linked to memory loss. It's like a nightly reset button for your mind. But let's be honest, sleep doesn't always come easily as we get older. Maybe you find yourself staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m. or waking up too early and struggling to drift back. If that sounds familiar, here's something that might help. Keeping a consistent routine, going to bed and waking up at the same time, even on weekends, can train your body to expect rest. And those screens we love so much, the blue light from phones and TVs tricks our brains into thinking it's daytime, so try putting them away an hour before bed. If you do wake up in the middle of the night, resist the urge to lie there worrying. Instead, get up, move to a chair, and read something soothing under soft light until sleep finds you again. Now, let's talk about something else that quietly chips away at our brain health: stress. It's not just that feeling of being overwhelmed. Chronic stress actually changes the structure of our brains, shrinking the areas responsible for memory and learning. Think about that for a moment. The worries that keep us up at night, the tension we carry in our shoulders. It's not just exhausting, it's physically reshaping our minds. But here's the hopeful part. Just as stress can wear us down, small moments of calm can build us back up. Try this the next time you feel tension rising. Breathe in slowly for 4 seconds, hold it for 7, then exhale for 8. Repeat this 3 times, and you'll feel your body start to unwind. It's like sending a signal to your nervous system that it's safe to relax. And if you can step outside for just 10 minutes, even if it's just to sit on a bench or tend to some flowers, the combination of fresh air and nature works like a reset button for a frazzled mind. Now, let's talk about some everyday choices that might seem small but pack a big punch for brain health. That spice rack in your kitchen? It's like a medicine cabinet for your mind. Turmeric, especially when paired with a pinch of black pepper, contains compounds that may protect brain cells. A sprinkle in your soup or morning eggs is an easy way to give your brain a boost. And cinnamon isn't just for flavor. It's been shown to help regulate blood sugar, which matters because what's good for your heart is good for your head. Here's something beautiful about music. It has this unique ability to reach parts of our minds that words can't. Listening to songs from our younger days can light up forgotten memories and bring a sense of joy that's almost medicinal. Even humming a tune engages multiple areas of the brain at once, like a mini workout for your mind. And let's not forget about water. It's easy to overlook, but mild dehydration can mimic early signs of cognitive trouble, confusion, irritability, that foggy feeling. Keeping a glass of water within reach during the day, maybe taking a sip every time a commercial comes on, or during natural pauses in your routine, can make more difference than you might think. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. Your brain is never static. Every choice, every small habit is either building it up or wearing it down. The beautiful thing is, it's never too late to start tending to your mind with the same care you'd give a cherished garden. I'd love to hear what's worked for you. Maybe a family recipe full of brain-healthy ingredients, or a morning ritual that sets your day right. Share your stories in the comments so we can all learn from each other. And if you found this conversation valuable, please like, share, and subscribe to this video. It helps others find their way here too. Remember, aging isn't about decline. It's an invitation to become the most vibrant, wise version of yourself. Here's to your health, your memories, and all the moments still ahead.